Alex sat alone in his kitchen, waiting. It was close to 10 p.m. when the front door creaked open. In stepped Angela, his wife, slightly drunk, smiling, flushed with excitement. She looked like she'd had a wonderful evening. "You're still up?" she asked. "You're home early." Alex didn't answer right away. He just looked at her. She poured herself a glass of wine, leaning against the kitchen counter. The light caught her wedding ring like it meant nothing. "Alex, it was just a fling," she said casually. "It doesn't mean anything. I'm not leaving our life together. Anthony's married. He has kids. I don't want to break up his family. It was just entertainment. I don't want a divorce." She sat down across from him at the table. He remained silent, observing her. Eventually he spoke. "You say you love me, but you're also sleeping with Anthony Mitchell, and you think that's supposed to mean nothing? I do love you, but I was with Anthony. That doesn't have to change anything," Angela insisted. "You really don't get it," Alex said. "The consequences of what you've done." "What consequences?" she challenged. "His wife knows. Ann Mitchell knows everything. I told her." Angela froze. Her hand gripped the edge of the table. "This place was mine before we got married. I've got plans now. You can move in with your lover." "Wait, you told his wife?" she gasped. "You ruined his family. Anthony was just a fling." "Maybe for you, but you've had more than one fling, haven't you? Pack your things. You're leaving. Tonight." "And go where?" Angela snapped. "To Anthony. If he even wants you," Alex said coldly. "Alex, you loved me. We can get through this." "You mean you'll keep doing what you were doing and expect me to keep playing along?" Alex asked. "If you let me explain, you'll understand. This can strengthen us," she pleaded. "But now you've got work problems too," he said. "You mean I'll get fired? Anthony's my boss. He won't do that. He respects me." "He might not fire you, but things won't be the same. Start packing. Tomorrow morning, everything you left behind goes in the trash." Angela grew quiet, sobering up fast. "What do I even say to Anthony now? That his wife found out?" She sighed and began to pack. Just the essentials: clothes, her laptop, a few documents. She glanced into the bedroom. Her wedding dress was boxed on the closet shelf. The bedroom set from her grandfather still stood proud. She hesitated. "Can I stay here just tonight?" she asked. "Fine," Alex said, walking away. "But by noon tomorrow, you're gone. Guest room only. Don't step into the bedroom." The next morning, she found Alex already gone. He'd eaten and left. When he returned, she said quietly, "I've made arrangements. A truck's coming at noon." "I'm sorry, Alex. I didn't want it to end like this. I did love you. Maybe I still do. But I can't live the way you want me to. I should have stopped earlier, but I didn't want to." He didn't look at her. "Where are you going?" "Staying with an old friend. I'll text you the address. Don't share it." "Not moving in with Anthony?" "No. He went ballistic when I called him. Said he'd bury me. His wife kicked him out. He's a wreck." She left later that day. Before going, she paused at the door. "There are still a few things left. If you don't want them, toss them. And I'm sorry." She followed through, texted the address, reminded Alex not to share it. The next day, he met with his lawyer and filed for divorce.
A few days later, Alex opened his front door to find Anthony Mitchell standing there, looking disheveled. "I need to talk to Angela," Anthony muttered. "She doesn't live here anymore," Alex replied flatly. "Where is she? She's not answering calls, hasn't shown up at work. I think they fired her." She left town, Alex said. What the hell happened? What did she do? You didn't know? Alex raised an eyebrow. She gave a list to the clinic, a full list of everyone she's been with. 2 damn pages. That's how my wife found out. Now I'm getting divorced, my wife took the house, and I lost my job. Oh, and apparently I picked up something from Angela too. Alex winced. You might want to get tested. Thanks for the tip. Got any other good advice? Yeah, maybe see a lawyer. A lawyer? If I show up to court, my wife's brothers will bury me under the parking lot. So why are you here? Alex asked. I don't even know. She told me you'd always love her, that you'd never leave. She was wrong, Alex said simply. Anthony shook his head. I almost hit her once. I stopped myself. Didn't want to go to jail. But she sure knew how to destroy a man. After Anthony left, Alex called Angela. She answered after a pause. Yeah? Don't worry, I'm not calling about court. Your precious Anthony stopped by looking for you. Oh, that idiot. He's just bitter and exaggerating. That list? I wrote it out by hand. You know how big my handwriting is? You wrote it for the health clinic. They said it was 2 pages. I thought they needed details. I was just trying to be responsible. Whatever. Just make sure you show up for the hearing. Tell the judge you agreed to the divorce. What do I get if I show up? I'll help you leave town. Go back to your parents. Deal. Angela kept her word. She appeared in court, dressed carefully, dark sunglasses hiding her eyes. When the judge asked if she contested the divorce, she said no. Why didn't you file through civil records? The judge asked. We thought there'd be disputes, but we worked things out yesterday. After the hearing, Alex gave her a card. This is your share. The house, the old cabin, everything's listed here. Angela looked surprised. You even valued the cabin? I didn't think I'd get anything. I just want this done, Alex replied. You still care about me. That's why you're doing this, she said quietly. No. I stopped caring when I started hating you. Goodbye, Angela.
In the months that followed, Alex got used to living alone. Not that much had changed. Even before the divorce, Angela had barely been home. She came and went as she pleased, slept all day, ignored him completely. Alex had already moved into the guest room. One evening, Alex returned home after dinner at the local diner. He carried a bag of groceries, nothing fancy, just some basics, eggs, milk, and a loaf of sourdough from the corner bakery. His apartment, a 3-bedroom unit in a brick walk-up built in the 1940s, had character. Hardwood floors, creaky stairs, high ceilings. No elevator, but it had charm. As he reached his floor, he noticed a woman standing near a closet-sized utility panel just off the stairwell. The small panel door was open, wires tangled like spaghetti. Next to her stood a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, hugging a stuffed bunny and looking up wide-eyed at the mess. "Everything all right?" Alex asked, setting his grocery bag down. "We lost power in our apartment. The lights went out while I was making dinner, but the hallway light is still on, so I figured the issue was inside." "You just move in?" he asked, already sensing the answer. "Yeah, last week. I'm Katie. This is Molly." Alex gave a small nod. "I'm Alex. Welcome to the building." He crouched to take a closer look. "Mind if he asked, pointing to the breaker box. "Please. I tried flipping a few switches, but I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm a nurse, not an electrician." "Old buildings like this, they've got a mind of their own," Alex said with a dry chuckle. He didn't want to mess with the wiring too much himself. It looked like something out of the 60s. Instead, he pulled out his phone and called Glenn, his buddy from a few doors down, who worked maintenance for the building next door. Glenn, got a second? We've got a power issue here. You around? Yeah, give me 5. You still keep beer cold? Always. 10 minutes later, Glenn showed up in a worn hoodie and work boots, toolbox in hand. This place? He said, eyeing the breaker box. Yeah, this is vintage. You blow a fuse or trip the breaker. Katie shrugged. We were running the microwave and toaster at the same time. Yeah, that'll do it. He poked around, replaced a fuse, reset the breaker, and the lights in Katie's apartment flicked back on. Boom, you're good. But get the landlord to upgrade this thing before it fries the place. I will, Katie said. Thanks, both of you. No problem, Alex said. Then to Molly, who was still clutching her bunny. You like cartoons? I've got a big screen and some strawberry jam that goes great with toast. You can come by sometime. Strawberry jam? She asked, lighting up. Best in town, he smiled.
The next morning was Saturday. Alex had nearly forgotten about the small bag of groceries he'd left in his car the night before. He went down to the parking lot to grab it, the air still crisp from the early morning dew. As he climbed the stairs, he ran into Katie, who was holding a sleepy-eyed Molly wrapped in a light hoodie. Morning, he said. Working on a weekend? Katie sighed. Yeah, I'm on call. Got a last-minute call in. Emergency appendectomy. Had to find someone to watch Molly, but, well, my usual backup bailed. Alex looked at the girl. She was quiet, her head resting on Katie's shoulder. You need someone to watch her? He asked. Katie hesitated. I don't want to impose. You're not. She's welcome to hang out with me. I've got cartoons, juice, and I make a mean bowl of oatmeal. Katie glanced at Molly. What do you think, kiddo? Molly opened one eye. Will there be strawberry jam? Of course, Alex smiled. Katie bit her lip, then handed Molly gently over. You're a lifesaver. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. Inside the apartment, Molly kicked off her sneakers and padded in behind him. Nice shoes, he said, but you're going to need slippers if you're going to hang around here. Can't have you freezing your feet off. I saw some red shoes by your door, she said, pointing. Can I try them? Alex glanced over. They were Angela's. She had left them months ago, probably on purpose. I guess, he said cautiously. They're a bit big, though. Molly sat on the floor and slid them on. Her feet swam in them, but she grinned. They make me look like a lady, she announced. Very classy, Alex agreed. Now, let's get you some breakfast. In the kitchen, he warmed up milk and stirred in oats. Molly sat at the table, swinging her legs, watching him with interest. You live alone? Yep, for now. You don't have kids? Nope. Why not? Well, I guess I was waiting for the right time. She seemed to consider that, then said, I think I can be your weekend kid. Deal, Alex smiled. He added the spoonful of strawberry jam to her bowl and slid it in front of her. Molly took a bite, eyes wide. This is better than school oatmeal. That's the highest praise I've had all year. After breakfast, she asked to see the rest of the apartment. He gave her a little tour. Living room with a big TV, office with books, guest room. She pointed at a spare armchair and said, That's where my bunny can nap. When Katie returned a few hours later, she found Molly watching cartoons on the couch, her feet tucked under a blanket, Bunny in her lap. She behaved? Alex said. She's a gem, smart, polite, and has excellent taste in jam. She laughed. Thank you. Seriously. Anytime. And I mean that. If you're ever stuck, she's always welcome. That night, after they'd both gone, Alex cleaned up the kitchen and noticed the red shoes by the door. He picked them up, hesitated, and quietly placed them in the back of the hall closet. The next Saturday morning was unusually sunny for early spring. Alex had promised Molly a new pair of house slippers, something that actually fit. So after breakfast, they headed to the local mall.
Molly skipped alongside him in her worn-out sneakers, clutching a small doll she insisted needed shoes, too. They stopped at a children's shoe store, where Molly tried on several pairs until she found fuzzy pink slippers with bunny ears. "These are perfect," she declared. Alex smiled. "Well, if you're happy, I'm happy." They wandered to the food court afterward. Molly pointed to the ice cream stand with wide eyes. "Just one," she said. "More than one scoop makes me itchy." "One it is," Alex replied. They sat at a corner table, Molly happily spooning rainbow sherbet, her doll seated in a chair with a napkin bib, when Violet walked into the mall. She was there on her usual Saturday routine: coffee, window shopping, maybe a manicure if time allowed. But what she didn't expect was to spot Alex sitting at a food court table with a child. She paused, taken aback. Alex never had kids. He'd never even talked about wanting them when he and Angela were together. But there he was, talking to this little girl like they were family. She circled slowly, pretending to examine a store display, but keeping him in her peripheral vision. No other woman was with them. No one looked like the girl's mother. Violet pulled out her phone and snapped a quick picture, then stepped aside to make a call. Angela picked up almost immediately. "Hello?" "It's me. I won't believe this." "What?" "Your Alex is at the mall. He's with a little girl." "What do you mean, a little girl?" "They're having ice cream. He's talking to her like she's his. I don't see the mother anywhere." There was a long pause. "Are you sure?" "Positive. They just left the food court. He bought her slippers, too. I saw the bag." Angela's voice dropped. "I need to know who she is. This doesn't make sense. He's not the kind of guy who jumps into things." "Well," Violet said, watching them walk toward the parking garage, "he looked pretty comfortable to me." Later that afternoon, as Alex and Molly drove back home, his phone rang. The caller ID read, "Unknown number." He answered. "Hello?" "Hey, it's Katie," she said, sounding slightly breathless. "Just got off work. How's my girl?" "She's great. We had an adventure. Mall, slippers, and one scoop of rainbow sherbet." "She talked you into ice cream." "She negotiated. One scoop only. She mentioned her itchy rule." "Smart kid," Katie said, warmth in her voice. "I'm heading home. Want to meet up at the park in 10? "Perfect. We'll be there." As Alex hung up, Molly piped up from the back seat. "Can I show Katie my new slippers at the park?" "Of course," Alex said. They pulled into the lot near the city park, just as Katie was arriving on foot. Molly ran ahead in her bunny slippers, waving wildly. Katie crouched down, laughing. "Look at those! Adorable!" Alex watched them with quiet contentment. Angela, meanwhile, was pacing in her room. Her mother glanced up from the kitchen. "You gonna eat anything?" "No," Angela muttered. "I eat when I'm angry." "Still about Alex?" "He's with some woman. And a kid." Her mother raised an eyebrow. "Honey, you're the one who ruined that. Maybe it's time to let go." Angela turned away. "He moved on too fast. It doesn't make sense." Her mother came to the doorway, drying her hands on a towel. "It makes perfect sense to everyone but you."
The three of them met at the edge of the park's playground. The sun filtered through the trees, dappling the benches and climbing structures with warm patches of light. Birds chirped, kids shouted, dogs barked in the distance. Molly darted straight toward the swings, her bunny slippers kicking up little clouds of mulch. Katie sat on the bench, sipping from a thermos, while Alex leaned against the armrest beside her.
She's got energy today, Katie smiled. Must be the sherbet, Alex joked. Might have been a tactical error. They both laughed. I'm serious, though, he added after a moment. She's a great kid. Smart, funny. I like having her around. Katie's expression softened. She's not biologically mine. I adopted her after my sister passed, but she's everything to me. Alex nodded slowly. You're doing a good job. I can see it. Katie turned to him. Can I ask something? Sure. Why are you being so nice to us? Not that I'm ungrateful, I don't get it. Alex looked out at the playground. I guess I've spent enough time being angry and alone, and then one night someone's power goes out and suddenly I'm making oatmeal and explaining cartoons. Katie smiled. You make it sound like fate. Maybe it is, he shrugged. Or maybe it's just what happens when someone finally knocks on the right door. Molly ran back to them, out of breath. I want to go on the Ferris wheel. Katie was surprised. Sweetheart, there's no Ferris wheel here. There's one downtown, though, part of the spring fair. It opened last week. Katie raised an eyebrow. You suggesting we go now? I mean, unless you have big laundry plans. She laughed. Fine, but I get to pick the music on the drive. Deal, he said. That evening, they stood in line at the fairground. The sun was just starting to set, casting gold and pink across the sky. Molly bounced on her heels, pointing out stuffed animals and blinking lights. When they finally climbed into the Ferris wheel cabin, she squeezed between them, clutching her bunny and grinning ear to ear. As the wheel climbed higher, the town spread out below them. Quiet streets, rows of houses, blinking stoplights, and a sliver of river glinting in the distance. Molly looked out and whispered, It's like flying. Yeah, Alex said quietly. It kind of is. Katie turned to him, her voice low. Thank you for all of this. He met her gaze. Anytime. They didn't kiss. They didn't need to. The silence said enough. Back at her parents' house, Angela sat by the window, chewing on the end of a pen. The phone call from Violet still echoed in her mind. A child. A woman? Alex had moved on. And he hadn't just moved on. He had become something else. Warmer, lighter, happier. Without her. She picked up her phone and hovered her finger over his number. Then she dialed. Alex answered after the second ring. Hello? It's me, she said. A pause. Angela, what do you want? I saw that you were with a little girl. Is that your daughter now? That's not really your business. Alex, we were married. We were, he said. Past tense. I just don't get it. You said you didn't want kids. You never... I didn't say that. I said I didn't want kids with you. Silence. Angela swallowed. So, who is she? That woman. Her name is Katie, and she's none of your concern. Angela's voice cracked. You're serious about her. I'm serious about living a life that isn't full of lies, guilt, and damage control. You're cold, she said, voice trembling. No, I've just learned how to feel warm again. Goodbye, Angela. He hung up. Later that week, Katie and Alex sat on his couch, a pizza box between them, Molly asleep in the next room. Katie leaned her head against his shoulder. You okay? You've been quiet. I got a call today. From Angela. Katie didn't move. What did she want? Honestly, I don't think she knows. Control, maybe. Or closure. Or just to check if the door's still open. And is it? No, he said firmly. Not even a crack. Katie took his hand.
Then stop thinking about her. I already did, he said. She's part of a chapter I'm not rereading. Katie smiled and rested her head back down. Outside, the city was quiet. The hum of the fridge and the tick of the hallway clock filled the silence. Tomorrow, Alex said, softly, I was thinking of taking you and Raleigh out to the lake. There's a trail there and a spot by the water where you can see the stars. Katie looked up. That sounds perfect. Alex kissed the top of her head. It didn't need to be dramatic. It didn't need to be rushed. It was just right.
It was a crisp Saturday in early October. Leaves had begun to turn along the sidewalk, and golden light stretched through the windows of Alex's apartment. But the apartment no longer felt like his alone. Molly's bunny slippers were tucked neatly by the door. A small backpack leaned against the armchair in the living room. On the fridge were crayon drawings, houses with hearts, stick figures labeled Me and Mommy and Alex. He stood at the stove, flipping pancakes. Katie moved around the kitchen behind him, tying her hair up and sipping coffee. "Hey," she said, touching his arm. "You know what today is?" He smiled. "Saturday?" She laughed. "That too, but also 6 months." Alex raised an eyebrow. 6 months since? Since Molly first knocked on your door. "He mean kicked it," he teased. "Details." She shrugged, grinning. He turned off the stove and pulled her in for a slow kiss. From the hallway, Molly's voice rang out. "Is the syrup ready?" Alex called back. "Maple syrup's on the table and waiting." She charged into the room with her slippers half on, climbed into her chair, and announced, "Today I want 3 pancakes. I'm big now." "You got it," Alex said. Katie sat beside her. "And after breakfast?" They said in unison, "Pumpkin patch." That afternoon, as they walked through rows of pumpkins, Alex held Molly's hand while Katie snapped pictures on her phone. At one point, Alex's phone buzzed. Unknown number. He stared at it for a second, then let it go to voicemail. A minute later, a message popped up. "Alex, it's Angela. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I hope you're okay. I still think about us. And I guess I always will. Maybe we could talk sometime." He stared at it for a moment, then deleted it, without replying. That night, as they lit a fire in the backyard of Katie's friend's house, Molly sat curled up in Alex's lap, wrapped in a blanket. Katie handed him a mug of cider and sat close. "You all right?" she asked. He nodded. "Better than all right." Katie leaned into him. "Sometimes I think your breaker panel going out was the best thing that ever happened to us." He smirked. "It was faulty wiring and fate." They sat there quietly as the stars appeared, one by one. And somewhere far behind them, the past dimmed to a quiet, powerless shadow.